guys, it's Fee. So, I've been hemming and hawing about doing this video the last couple days. I figured I'd think about some of the stuff that's been running through my brain and whatever was still with me after a few days of healing the heartstrings. I figured at that point it's definitely worth putting out here. Obviously the last number of days have been kind of trying. I really wasn't prepared for a lot of these feelings. I wasn't prepared because we thought we knew everything that was wrong, so we swore the IVF would work, and when it didn't, you know, that left us kind of pretty open emotions-wise. Kind of left the heart on the sleeve, as they say. But you know, it's hard to be guarded and positive at the same time. Though going into the future, we'll probably try and be a little bit better at that. Since now we really don't know what we're dealing with. Hopefully nothing more than what we've already discovered. Hopefully it was just, I don't know, a fluke. I guess we'll find out. But you know, we prayed, you guys prayed. Heck, even people that I don't know prayed because they were asked to pray for us by either friends or family. We definitely had a prayer farm going on, but it still didn't work. And it's hard not to ask why. It's really hard not to ask why. Why wasn't this my turn? Why wasn't this my miracle? Why didn't it work? Why is this so hard for some and easy for others? Or what? What is the other one? What went wrong? What did they miss? What did I do to deserve this? I know we all say that one, though we don't want to admit to it. But you know, my husband really set me straight on that last one. I wanted to share this with you guys because his response to that one kind of caught me off guard. But what did I do to deserve this? That crosses the brain a lot. A lot. And when I actually said it out loud, he sat and thought for a second and he looked at me and he said, you know, serial killers have children. You think they did something right to deserve those kids? So, yeah. Point made. Point definitely taken. Gotta stop asking that one. Because that's not the way it works. It's just not. And we're not supposed to ask why. I mean, part of that is a religious thing with me. We're supposed to just trust God's plan. Sometimes that's really hard to do. But I think not asking why is also to try and keep our sanity and to not feed the fear. Fear is bad enough on its own. At least for me. I know everybody is different, but the fear of so many things, man, it can keep you up at night. It can keep me up at night. You know, fear of something being missed, fear of running out of time, that damn biological clock that I'd like to just hit with a hammer. Fear of it never working. That's a big one. Fear of it working and something going wrong. Fear of never being the same after all of this. Fear of it changing me. I don't know if, you know, what we go through can change you for the better, but, you know, the emotions, if you're not careful, they can change you for the worse, too. But, I don't know. I question everything. I psychoanalyze everything. I've been told that I can be too smart for my own good, that I think things through too much. I've been told that I can be too informed for my own good. Now, that's the other one I wanted to mention. That last one, too informed for my own good. How true is that for so many of us? I had this conversation with a couple of people. You know, in this community, there's so many scary stories. You learn of crappy specialists that don't do their jobs, and then there are good doctors that still don't test for certain things unless you fight for it. things insurance companies won't pay for at one time, but if you have X number of heartbreaks, then they'll do it. It's hard not to worry about what else is wrong. What did they miss? This happened to so-and-so. Maybe it's happening to me too. Look at the numbers within the community of fertility problems. The percentage of people tested positive for this. This percentage of people had to go through A, B, C, D, E, F, and G before finding out their underlying problem. Maybe something like that applies to me. It scares the tar out of you and just makes you go into overdrive. Why does it feel like everything always has to be because of an underlying problem? It's that too informed thing. You know, it's a good thing and a bad thing. 6 of this, half dozen of that. So I guess my point here is I have no idea if my mind is jumping to conclusions prematurely, if I'm trying to create more drama in my story than what is really there. I sure as hell don't want more drama. But I don't want to be naive either. There could be something else there. Should I just go with the flow and pray that I'm not one of these other scenarios? Should I just hope that this failure was just one of those things? Nothing is 100%. And don't get me wrong, I mean, in this community there are also wonderful stories of miracles. Stories that make you cry tears of joy instead of the alternative. And we've got to hold on to that with both hands. Stay positive, because that really is so important. But I'm not going to lie, these last number of days, my hands have been slipping on that rope. From holding on so tightly with both hands and just slipping, getting rope burn. That's how I described it to someone. Rope burn. I know this is common. I've seen people go from positive Polly to negative Nancy in a matter of one cycle. This journey can do that to a person and then never get it back. Never get that positivity 100% back. After every hurdle that you trip over, it goes down one more notch and one more notch. Never quite get that same spark or that same bounce in your step back. And man, I don't want that. I don't want that, but I don't want more rope burn either. That's my simile for this. Rope burn. Everyone's story is different. So, the question that I keep asking myself is, what do? Do I feed the fear monster, or do I ignore the pink elephant in the room? Which one really exists? Are they both there? Are neither one of them there? But that's really it. Do I feed the fear monster, or do I ignore the pink elephant in the room? I don't know. That's what I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to get out here. Whenever some of these feelings come into play, it's helpful to put it out here and see if you're the only one with these crazy thoughts. It helps to know you're not alone, and maybe this will help somebody else. But what am I going to do? What's next for us? This is what I know. We are heading straight into an FET, a frozen embryo transfer. I was supposed to call on cycle day 1. That was Saturday. So they told me that the red plague could show up anywhere between 1 and 10 days after I got my negative beta, and for me it was 3. And I think that's kind of common. A couple of people told me that as soon as they stopped the shots, then about 3 days later, there it is. And if that's the case, that was like clockwork, because it was Saturday morning and there it was. By that point, it was like noon on Saturday. And by that point, my clinic was closed. They did have an answering service, but I didn't really bother with it because I knew that the first step was birth control, and it would start somewhere between cycle day 3 and 5, and cycle day 3 is today, so I knew I would be fine if I waited until this morning. So I did call them this morning, and I do start the birth control tonight, day 3. And that will be for 21 days. After that, I'm not entirely positive what direction they're going to go. They haven't given me the entire protocol yet. I know some people start with birth control, and that's it for an FET. Some people have Lupron, and that's it. Some people have an overlap similar to a fresh IVF cycle. So I don't know if Lupron's going to come into play or if it's just the birth control. I don't know that yet. After that point, I do know that it'll be estradiol to get my lining up, and once that looks good, then they'll schedule the FET for like 3 to 6 days out at that point, which in between there, the progesterone shots will start back up again. That's all I know. I don't have the exact protocol, so 6 weeks-ish. And while I am thinking about it, I wanted to share some information with you guys out there in case anybody else runs into this. My first IVF cycle, the fresh one, started with birth control also. And if you've been following my vlogs through this process, you may or may not remember that I had a problem with the birth control. For about 3 weeks, I was on, first of all, I was on the birth control for close to 6 weeks because we were trying to get rid of cysts going into this IVF cycle. And for about 3 weeks of that, I had what I would call breakthrough bleeding from the birth control, but not full on red plague ant flow either. I would say it was somewhere in between. Highly annoying. And of course, by the time I got to the stimulation shots, I just felt icky. I felt icky and I felt tired. And of course, 3 weeks of bleeding is kind of annoying. And they told me that because of the issues with the birth control, obviously my estrogen had dropped really low by that point, which caused the ick, so to speak. But they also told me that the birth control I was on was not strong enough. That's what caused that. So, of course, when I called, I said, hey, give me something different. They figured out that what I was on was a generic replacement by my pharmacy than what they actually ordered. That would be this. Riclipsin. Looks like this. It's one of these jobbers, right? That's what it looks like. This is a generic. What they actually wanted me on was, I'm going to probably pronounce this badly, Desigen, all right, which looks like that, and it's a flip up. And all right, so there's the name. All right. So this is the generic. This is the real deal. The difference between these two is apparently with this particular one, and the way they worded this, they said the generic can have up to 20% less medicine in it than the real one. 20%. I thought that was really interesting. So needless to say, I am on this one and not this one anymore. And hopefully that will solve the problem. I guess we'll find out. What else? I have a consult this Friday with my RE just to get some questions out there, get some answers. My husband and I have a small list. I also want to see if he'd be willing to do a couple of blood tests, hopefully during this birth control section. Hopefully that can be done. I really want to test for natural killer cell and for protein deficiency. The protein deficiency is kind of on my radar because I've been told in the past by a doctor that I was potentially protein deficient. And it was actually through a urinalysis I did with a nutritionalist a couple years ago That was a couple years ago. I have no idea if one's related to the other. But the protein deficiency has my attention. So I guess we'll see if I can convince him to do those tests. Find that out on Friday. I also saw my acupuncturist today. I am going to do acupuncture with this FET cycle. That will start in about 2 weeks. So 4 weeks out from the actual FET, 4 to 5 weeks out from the actual transfer, I will start the acupuncture. I did not do acupuncture with this last fresh cycle. Not quite sure why, I just didn't. But I am going to do it this cycle because I'm going to try and give everything I've got to this one and not assume that everything is going to go well like we did the first time. We're going to try and make it go well, right? We're going to make it go well and do our best and keep those prayers up. What else? I am going to add, sorry, I'm having a problem here with my voice. I am going to add a couple of things to my supplement repertoire. I haven't been taking omegas. I'm adding that. I think I'm also going to add bromelain. Pretty much the stuff that I'm adding right now has to do with uterine lining. Supplements for the uterine lining. And I think in a couple of days, maybe I'll do a video on that. I actually haven't done a supplements I'm taking video in a very long time, and a lot of things have changed that I've been taking, or brands have changed, or I've stopped taking certain things at the RE's request. So I may redo one of those. I don't have the bromelain in yet. I actually ordered that, and it should be here probably Wednesday, so that's probably why I'll wait a few days to do the video as to what I am actually going to take this month. I'm also going to try and add more protein to my diet. Not just because of the protein thing that I just spoke about, but also because my body does well on it. I tend to lose weight if I have the protein. And if there is any underlying issues with the protein there, maybe that'll help. I don't know. And we're going to pray. We're going to pray hard. So that's it. That's what I know I'm doing. That's what I know I've done. That's what's in the process. And that's all I know. So before this video gets any longer, because I see I'm at 18 minutes here, and apparently Fee can't make short videos, but you guys know that already. I'm going to let you go. That's all I got. Any comments on any of this, please leave them below. I'm open to any suggestions. And I will update you guys probably after the consult on Friday. So it's probably sometime over the weekend. I'll let you guys know how that went. Talk to you later. Thanks for listening.